Hey guys, this is James.
And it's your boy Denny over at TeaDB. Bringing you guys episode 223.
Yes. So today we have some. Denny is clearing out the last session's sediment.
Yep.
We have some. Speaking of strong teas that are bitter, we have some Biyun Hao Guafengzhai. We brought on a couple of their teas earlier this year. So a couple mid 2000s teas. This one's from 2012. It is supposedly from a single tree. I have not been to that tree, so I cannot verify that claim.
I'll be able to taste the difference for sure.
Well, this is clearly from the same tree. So no one here has that kind of expertise. The material looks really nice. Guafengzhai is sort of in the greater Yiwu area, so we'd expect it to have some of those characteristics.
And I'm just trying to get this not broken apart too much, but a little bit. Boop.
So, just so you guys know, the purpose of this episode is not to taste a single tree. It's mainly to enjoy and try this tea.
Yeah.
So we're not going to be talking about anything like that.
Yeah.
We're just going to be drinking the tea.
Yeah, so for you folks out there who really obsessed over things like single farm and ancient trees and all this different stuff,
then we have some single leaf pu'erh grown here in Seattle to sell you, processed by yours truly. It's not cheap. It sells for a few grand per leaf, but we will happy to be to have free shipping. So
smell that. All right, so wow, look at this. Also really orange. It's really strong smelling, and
bit of that herbal vibe.
Indeed. And 1 second. And we're back. Okay. So steeping numero uno, and I'm going to not steep this for long at all because it's got such a pungent aroma.
Yep.
And because the leaves are broken up, not too much,
But
but
certainly
they'll steep out more quickly.
Not a terribly compressed cake as far as pu'erh goes.
Huge leaves, intact, really beautiful, really high quality. It's been cared for.
And so this tea is just old enough to just get a little bit of age, not too much yet. Yeah.
Yeah, let's give it a shot.
Yep.
It's gonna be hot.
Cheers, guys.
Salud. It's got really nice sweetness, and then it has that very medicinal Chinese herb shop storage finish on it. I think that storage taste will go down a little bit, and then like a really nice little kind of not puckering, but juicy, salivating sort of thing going on too.
I think it has a bit of that sort of like getting a little bit sort of in that woody, menthol-y vibe. It's not all the way there. I think the tea just needs a little bit more time to get there. But I'm getting a bit of that on this initial sip.
Not bitter. Not too strong. Texture is good, but it's not super viscous and thick.
Yeah. A little bit of oiliness to it. Not, as Denny said, not terribly thick yet.
Yeah, it has the kind of pencil shaving sort of smell to it on inside of with the wet leaf.
Yeah. I'd say it's really sort of in between stages right now. It's not like, it doesn't have like a clear, coherent theme going on, at least on this initial steep.
I'm just going to go ahead and blast this one more time. Just keep the heat up. Give it a little bit longer, but not much.
And so what is your methodology behind this sort of brewing style, Denny?
Yeah.
And is this sort of how you normally approach raw pu'erh?
Yes, it's more about keeping. I'm just trying to retain the heat from the vessel, so kinetic energy transferred to here. This is going to stay hotter, so let's keep on adding energy to it to keep it hot. If we were to take a break, or if I was doing a session with a friend, I might just reheat the water. But because of the initial lightness of that first steeping that we had, I want to make sure that we're getting to those more flavorsome steepings, but also keeping the steep time itself down lower. So usually you just want to ride this sort of heat wave there, and basically, I'm sure there's some weird 80s reference there, I don't know. But
yeah.
But like, you know, go experiment and see how it goes, right? Worst case scenario, it's slightly less intense. I just think that this is the kind of tea that there's enough room to play in with this sort of tea that we can get a little more intense. So.
Right. And why are you not steeping this tea for 30 seconds, let's say?
Because it would destroy you. I mean, just the ratio and the sort of the style of steeping and brewing that we're doing, it just would be way too intense.
Yeah.
So maybe if you were using really, really like, you know, cold water, then maybe it would work. But in this case, no.
Yeah. So a lot of the raw pu'erh brewing is kind of tied around like not brewing it in a way that it doesn't get too bitter. A little bit of bitterness is okay, but you don't want it to be nasty.
And it also gives us time when I'm doing that steeping.
This one's tasty.
Yeah, exactly. To let the beverage cool down a little bit too.
A little bit of fruitiness in this.
Mm-hmm. It's got that like raw pu'erh finish on it for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely tasting that this is from one tree.
Yeah, a little dry. Yeah. Clearly, yeah. Except for this leaf
that
right
one,
here.
That one
this
perpetrator.
Is clearly they're doing some funny business.
Completely agree. Some fuzzy math in there, or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever George Bush said forever ago.
Wow.
So
you're referencing stuff from like 18 years ago or something, or 17.
God. Terrifying.
Yeah.
In terms of like lasting flavor, sitting here, what's going on with you? Are you still tasting it? Is it finished? What's it taste like if you're still tasting it?
Yeah, I would say so. I'd say that the lasting flavors are predominantly sweet. It doesn't have sort of like Denny talks about the raw pu'erh flavor, and I think there's a bit of dryness in the finish, but that doesn't necessarily last. I'd say that it's causing me to salivate a bit more. After this episode, I'm probably going to drink a bunch of water.
Right.
I taste a lot of sort of like sweet, sticky feelings left in the mouth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally agree. Third steeping.
Cheers, guys.
Sweet. Little hints of fruit in the beginning of it, and then it gets sort of not quite menthol-y, but those sorts of flavors.
Yeah, sort of has that sticky fruit thing. I'd say the steep has definitely some of that characteristic raw pu'erh pucker to it. A little bit of astringency. Yeah,
we're getting into the strength of the tea, and I'm gonna heat the water up. The tea's gonna be intense. We're gonna do as quick of a flash brew as you possibly can. So the tea leaves have expanded completely now. They're totally soaked through.
Yeah.
So these steepings are gonna be intense, especially with the heated up water.
Let's take a smell too.
Yeah.
Smells really nice, actually. A lot of the woody, sort of sweetness coming off of that. A little bit of cherry, actually, for me, too. So, light amount of fruitiness. I'd say fruitiness is definitely a secondary flavor / aromatic for this.
Yeah, right on. Yep, with all that stuff. And there's a kind of like rainier cherry sweetness to it. And then, a lot of those sort of like woodier, not quite smoky, but just stronger, deeper flavors.
And so, Denny, for those of people that might not be familiar with raw pu'erh, if they had this tea, so this tea was produced in 2012.
Mm-hmm.
If they brewed it in 2012, what color would that be?
Much more yellow. It'd be stronger tasting, most likely.
Right.
Because this is coming out of the EU region, it's going to have those sweeter characteristics. So these teas do tend to be a little more amenable when they're younger.
Compared to other raw
pu'erh.
Right.
Thank you, yeah. But that being said, it's going to be an ass kicker.
And this tea is strong.
Yeah. So, and then this tea will, lighten up and become, it's an orange now, and it's going to keep growing that orange and become slowly more closer to a red color.
As
it would take a long time to get there, though. Yeah. Feeling good energy off this tea. Yeah.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Ooh, that's again. This tea has picked up the strength another notch.
Exactly.
It's a lot stronger on the entry point for me.
Yeah, I think that this steeping is, because didn't soak quite as much. I think the steeping is a little bit less viscous, but it has a lot more intensity and flavor of it. Mom test.
Thumbs down. This would be a poor use of tea and a poor use of expensive tea.
And a poor use of mom.
Yeah, poor use of mom too. I think they're, even in the category of raw pu'erhs, which is probably not the most mom-friendly category, this tea would not do terribly well. I think there are far more palatable raw pu'erh teas that are accessible for people.
Yeah, I think that this could definitely use age on it still.
Yeah, I agree.
And it will balance and mellow out a little bit more. I don't think that there's too much of a storage taste. So I think that, keep on keeping on with how it's been stored so far. And I'm going to with the poo burps. Just in terms of the intensity of the flavors, though, I think it can still be a little bit of balance in this tea. So it has really pleasant notes of sweetness. And then there is that sort of like freight train of raw pu'erh that kind of takes over.
Yeah, it runs you over.
Yeah, and it's not bad necessarily. I would expect this tea to change and hopefully improve.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Cheers. It's got that sweetness in the beginning, and then it just gets like bitter.
Yeah. It definitely has a bit of that. I think Denny pointed this out early on. Sort of that like medicinal, menthol-y taste. I especially get that in this steep, especially combined with the bitterness. It really gives it some oomph.
Yeah, I like the viscosity. James had mentioned that there's a little bit of a drying going on. Totally. This is one of those teas that you're tasting deeper in your sort of chest as well, and it's going to warm you up and give you hopefully some good energy. I think this is enjoyable. I'm sort of pampering my palate with more friendly and lighter flavors, and so for me, this wouldn't be a daily drinker. It just is a lot going on.
It's kind of hard to. It's not the easiest tea to drink either, I would say. Like I feel like this would also not be. Like, even though this has strong energy, I wouldn't, like, chug a mug of this before I would go to the club or something like that. So, to bring up another old TeaDB test, the club test. So this actually
yeah, all you video editors out there just need to, like, do a remix of the video with, like, club lights and, like, a disco ball made out of tea leaves or something. I don't know. Oh, my God. Yeah, pulling a Scott. Oh, my God. Okay. Woo!
You got too into that club analogy.
Start talking and suddenly, 4
minutes later.
Yeah, 4 Cisco songs later.
Yeah. So
Cisco still around? Nope.
I don't know.
I think you did the thong song.
Okay.
Did we say that on TeaDB?
I don't know. We just did. So
Smell that. That just smells like medicine, like just herbal medicinal roots and stuff.
I don't think kids would like this tea either.
No. Wow, yeah. Really strong on the medicinal flavors now. That sort of cherry sweetness, I think, has disappeared a little bit. Really nice, though. The beginning steepings did have a lot of those kind of softer, fruitier flavors.
Right.
I wouldn't say this is as sweet as the typical Iwu tea, though.
I think it's stronger, more potent. And I think we're hitting those super strong steeps now. I think depending on how Denny brews this on the back end, it would eventually soften up.
Right.
Maybe in a few brews. And then it'd start to get really softer and tasty
Let's
again.
just as an experiment for the last steeping, we're going to cool this down a lot and give it much more time and just see how that influences things.
Okay,
So,
yeah, sounds good.
cheers.
Cheers.
I think already it's getting a little bit sweeter.
Not bad actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. You steep that. Wow. Okay. I think you steep that for a while at just the right point. If
Yeah.
you had done that a steep too earlier.
I meant to do that.
Yeah. It's the
True.
or maybe it was the chi that you're channeling and your club. You just
Totally. Yes.
mellowed that tea out perfectly.
Yes. DJ Khaled told me that it's the best. You can unsubscribe at any time.
No, you can't.
But you can't actually, and also make your mom subscribe. Okay. This is a little bit cooler, not too much cooler, but we're going to let this go for 15 seconds. Now, for you folks who have never brewed tea before, or rather never seen the show, like, what the hell, that's no time. Brew a tea like this for 15 seconds on the first steeping and then report back. Let us know.
Yeah.
That might change your mind, so
Yeah.
go ahead and give that a shot. This far along in the progression of this tea, it's gonna be there's gonna be more flexibility. So we'll see how this goes. And I mean, the leaves are enormous, really great quality, really filling up the brewing vessel. And that's probably enough.
And here's another sort of open-ended, not a clear answer to the question is like, how do you think, so this tea, I mean, regardless if you think it's single tree or not, it's probably very single origin.
Yeah.
So something like that. How do you think this tea differs versus if it were blended per se?
Yeah, well, so you're going to have a variety of different tea leaves coming into a blend from different locations. They're going to have a different terroir, and they're going to create more balance, but they're not going to give you quite as much of those sort of like clear, specific flavors. So, if you're tasting the fruitiness of the sort of cherry fruitiness of one tea leaf or one, sort of bunch of tea, and then you go to a different region and it has a different fruitiness, you're going to have kind of competitive flavors going on. When you blend those things successfully together, it's a amplitive experience, right? It's better than the original.
Yeah.
It's not 1 + 1 = 2. It's 1 + 1 = 3 or whatever.
Yeah, so it's sort of like a band or something, or
Exactly.
like a symphony or
yeah,
whatever.
and so some bands are terrible together, and so a lot of the blends that we're on the drinking the show are done by these tea masters or done by these recipes and that have been around forever. It's interesting to drink tea from a kind of clear single origin. This really does seem to only apply, though, to Pu'erh. In comparison to the other teas that we drink on the show.
Yeah.
Some Japanese teas
I hear
blended.
Japanese teas are, but that's rare covered. It's not often
Yeah.
covered on the show.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like big factory pours, I mean, it's all about blending it and
Right.
creating a product.
So if this
sort
were
of
blended,
ages, yeah.
maybe it gives it a little bit of a better balance and a little bit easier to drink, but it might not be quite as, I don't want to say, sophisticated or, impressive later on.
It's very educational, I'd say, to drink these sorts of teas.
Right.
Because, like, especially if you're trying to understand, like, a region or like, a bush and how it might age.
Absolutely, yeah.
It'd be interesting in that sense. But the reason for blending would be to sort of, as Denny said, create sort of different layers and complexities to the tea.
Yeah.
So,
And hedging, too, meaning
Yeah.
that, if you know this is going to be a really intense tea early on to drink,
Yeah.
and you want to sell it to be drank quickly, you're going to add some sweeter flavors that are going to make it a little bit more amenable to that process.
So you could add a little bit of this and then, like, some more palatable teas,
just
like
some
softer flavors.
Yeah, like
and-
Earl Grey or something.
Oh, yeah.
Just covered in bergamot.
Yeah.
All right. Cheers.
There you go. Not bad. It's got a little bit of that dryness, but really, I'd say it's one of the smoother steeps that we've had.
It's got a peppery bite to it. It's not bitter, just a flavor profile piece. And but yeah, I think a lot of the sweetness is sort of, and the fruitiness has kind of gone out, and now we're getting more into those sort of like minerally dry, woody, earthiness.
Yeah. And this tea's energy, I will say, is pretty strong.
Yeah.
I am feeling very energized from this tea. Definitely tasting it sort of in the body. It's left like a really nice sweetness in my throat too. So enjoying those aspects of the tea probably more so than the taste.
Yeah.
At this point.
Yeah. And so it's interesting for these types of teas where, we're not purely in love with how it tastes, but there's all these other complexities to it. It's, it's teaching us about blending versus not. There's all the different physical feelings of it and textures. And so tea is this multisensory experience. It's not just about the liquid necessarily. Take from it what you want. If you want it to just be about that too, great. No big deal. But this has been a fun, kind of interesting tea to drink.
Yeah.
Definitely doesn't pass the mom test per se, but
or the clubbing test. So it's the rare tea that's really tasty. But
so for more memery, where should if folks want to learn more about tea, James?
Yeah, come check us out at TeaDB.org.
If you dare.
Yeah, we have a lot of videos on raw pu'erh. So if you're interested in that thing, this is kind of a fun little oddity, but we probably reviewed hundreds of raw pu'erhs at this point. So come check us out. Lots of different stuff there. I do not know if this tea is available, but Pedro is a great guy that sort of introduced Biyun Hao to the West. Pedro, he's Brazilian, so you could seek him out if you're sort of interested in learning more about the brand and what is for sale versus not.
Yeah.
So thank you, Pedro, for sort of that introduction.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you to my tea friend Grill for sending me this sample and the Caveman King. Yeah. So thank you guys for contributing, and we give this video a thumbs up if you stayed all the way to the end and you enjoyed it, and we will see you guys next time.
Cheers.